We have a Trump rally at Madison Square Garden where in this video, we're actually going to focus more on the guest speakers that Trump brought out because it seems his goal here was to open with as much thinly veiled racism as possible before coming out and giving a lackluster speech himself that we'll cover later in the day. But let's first check out the tone that Trump wanted to have set by the people that he himself invited to speak.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah, I think it's called Puerto Rico.
This just continues the anti-immigrant rhetoric that's been flooding the Trump campaign in recent weeks at all of his events. And to preempt the clowns in my comments who want to defend this, calling racism a joke or trying to make racism funny doesn't make it not racist. I'm sorry to tell you that. Trump has already called immigrants trash, said we're a trash can of a country because of the trash that's getting in. He means the immigrants, predominantly the brown immigrants. And now he's allowing his speaker, who he okayed, who he invited, to call Puerto Rico a predominantly brown country, a floating pile of trash. This is just racism attempting to hide behind a joke. And if you don't think that the Trump team reads and signs off on everything that'll be said, you have no idea what you're talking about. This was okayed by Trump because it fits into the rhetoric that he's been using.
We didn't choose the name for that by random. Merit Street Media. This country was built on hard work, added value, and talent, not on equal outcome. Not on DEI.
Yeah, the hard work of who, Dr. Phil? Say it. Go ahead. Whose hard work? What color were the people who built this country? And what status did they have? How much were they paid? Oh yeah, it kind of defeats their whole brand if he admits that it was black slaves who built this country while being unpaid, which is quite the economic boost for any country to have. And the fact that black people built this country while being subjected to less opportunity and less rights than everyone else not only defeats this idea of meritocracy existing, which has never truly existed in this country. I mean, if it did, then these black people would have been the top earners, the ones who created the economic systems, built our country to what it is today. And even now, you got to think those who work the hardest, right? Like plumbers, construction workers, these people working 60, 70 hours a week are typically only paid middle-class income, while the highest earners in this country make money off their money and don't do anything. But it also shows the need for DEI to level the playing field for everyone, whereas it's like playing Monopoly and white people have been allowed to run the board 400 times while black people were stuck on go, or actually black people were building houses, putting houses on the white people's properties who were running the board, having to spend any money they had for that, right? After not getting money for like 200 turns, and the next 200, they're building houses on the white people's property, and then now they get to go. It's not a fair game of Monopoly, and the same can be said for how the American economy is set up now. And if he thinks that hard work should be what gets you merit, then why isn't he mad at Trump, who skipped the line by inheriting $400 million from his KKK daddy? This sounds oddly targeted towards black people.
It's going to be pretty tough for them 10 days from now to look in the eye to America with a straight face. It's going to be pretty hard to look at us and say, you know what? Kamala Harris, she got 85 million votes because she's just so impressive. As the first Samoan, Malaysian, low IQ, former California prosecutor ever to be elected president, it was just a groundswell of popular support. And anyone who thinks otherwise is just a freak or a criminal. At this stage of the game, after 9 years of listening to their lies and finding every single one of them totally false, no, it's not safe and effective, and no, she's not impressive. It's very hard for me to believe the rest of us are going to say, you know what, Joe Scarborough, you're right. You're right. She won fair and square because she's just so impressive. I don't think so. And to me, that is liberation.
Love how they're already readying their base with the COPE talking points for the next 4 years after they lose. It's also rich to hear the guy who got fired from a propaganda network calling someone who's passed the bar exam and worked in every level of government low IQ. Tucker Carlson, who pushes things like Great Replacement and has to have his scripts and everything made for him, is questioning the IQ of someone else. That's just gold. Also, it's kind of funny that he and Trump campaign and Republicans just have to still try and discredit her as black in any way they can. It seems the concept of being biracial is lost on these people. Honestly, it's just sad to see the Republican nominee for president being allowed to surround himself with such filth and still be taken serious. Like, millions of people in our country are just mask off admitting they'll support bigotry as long as it's in the color red. It's disappointing to see. And again, if Trump didn't have a literal cult, something like this would be wholly disqualifying. This would disqualify any other politician in American history, but people just are so brainwashed by Trump that they don't care. And again, it's a lot of the times because he plays to their bigotry, because he plays to their paranoias, because he gives them a space to be conspiracy theorists and racist. And he's not even hiding it anymore. He's mask off allowing racism in his campaign, mask off saying he'll do fascism in his campaign. And I truly fear for America if he were to win in a week.